G'day everyone and welcome back to the 1 year anniversary challenge brought to you by Derriere Farms. If you're new, welcome, and please feel free to hit the like and subscribe button and you will earn my eternal gratitude. So for those of you, if you are joining us for the first time, the challenge is Farming Simulator is 1 year old, and basically, I have to use, by the end of this series, every piece, or at least a part of every piece of DLC that got released during the past year, with the exclusion of the Ontario Carrero pack, because I really can't find any use for a 90 horsepower tractor. But that means, yes, precision farming, the AGI pack, Kubota, and more specifically, the Platinum Edition. It all has to be tied into one map. The reason I chose Elmcreek is because it's a suitable map for both logging and farming. By farming, I mean arable farming. And as such will allow us to do a little bit of everything and combine everything into one. I've modified the sawmill so we will be able to get productions that will supply the Platinum DLC productions, and the multi-fruit buying station will sell us. It's not going to be free like it is on the Platinum Silver Run Forest, but will supply us or sell us with iron ore. As I explained before, I did not want to do another start from scratch map. So essentially, to make this a challenge, I reset this map back to the basics. All of the productions are gone. I don't own the sawmill, anything. 70% of my animals are gone. No pigs, no beef cows. Most of my sheep are gone. Half my cattle are gone. You get the idea. The only thing I got to keep, really, like I said, was my farmland, and only 50%. I had to sell off 50% of my tractors and equipment. So all the big fancy stuff is gone. The cotton harvester, gone. When it comes to cotton harvesting, I have to have either made enough money to afford a new cotton harvester, or I have to lease one. So the only source of income I have is whatever I make from the bees, wool from the sheep, and the milk. And that has to cover all the costs of fertilizer, seed, herbicide, and, well, fuel and repairs. So it needs to cover all of our expenses, at least till we get through to harvest season. With that said, let's move on. And one more catch, I am using precision farming, and my precision farming score cannot fall below 90%. Even if I take on new lands, it cannot fall below 90%. Alright, let's skip to the next month, and we will get rolling again with the next episode. And of course, we start the following month out with great demand at 2 different locations, none of which I can fulfill because I don't have the products to fulfill it, because nothing's growing yet. Looks like we have some weeding to do. And the first part of the, another part of the challenge is, most of my tractors are, well, the youngest tractor I have has 10 hours on it. So none of my tractors are exactly new, which means I'm going to have fairly expensive repair bills. So I have to use them, obviously, judiciously to make sure that I am not overspending on repairs. I haven't decided yet, as we're not there, but at some point Is that herbicide? I pray that's herbicide. No, that's fertilizer. But at some point, I have to decide at what age I am going to replace these tractors at. And that's going to be another additional expense that goes against me being able to purchase productions. So leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think is a good amount of time to replace the tractor at. When I had lots of money, like, $10+ million on the farm, I replaced them fairly often. But I can't really do that on a regular basis. I can't keep them under 10 to 15 years old anymore. Oh, and I gotta make sure I spray the whole field and not just parts of the field. Like I said, weed control goes against your precision farming score, so I have to make sure that's taken care of as well. So, like I said, leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think is a reasonable amount of time in the tractor's life, based on the fact that the game, unlike a real tractor where you can have 10,000 hours, is 10 in-game hours the equivalent of 10,000 tractor hours? I don't know. It would seem reasonable based on the repair costs, but we'll go from there. So I'm going to get this field set up, and I will be using workers too, which is an additional expense. In terms of mods, I can't use any mods that are excessive. So I can't use anything that is basically a money printing mod. The donut factory, it makes too much money too quickly. I can't use it. Great mod though. Alright, let me get my weeding taken care of, and then I'll bring you back in. Now I will be replacing the farmer's market here with the one from Silver Run Forest, which is a placeable. That's going to cost money too. However, I do need something that will accept productions at some point from Silver Run Forest. I mean, we don't even have the first crop out of the ground yet, and I'm talking about what productions I'm going to do first for Silver Run Forest. Or from Silver Run Forest. I've also plowed a couple of my fields together to make them slightly, I don't know about you. I know some people out there like small fields. I don't like small fields. When a field walks in with an itty bitty crop, well, whatever Sir Mix-a-Lot says next, I don't know if I can repeat on the air. The other thing is, some people have suggested that I do this as a live stream once a week. That way they can see more being done instead of cutscenes. I know some people do time lapses. Right now, I've tried to do them and they don't work very well. I don't have very good recording software, and I would like to get, I think it's Dagowin who uses Adobe After Effects or Adobe Premiere. I would like to get a subscription to that, but that's going to have to wait till the channel's monetized. But I need to sit down and go through the whole live stream process. I know a lot of the more experienced YouTubers like Pharmacop and those guys have no problems with it. And I think it would probably work fairly well for what we're trying to do here, especially based on the fact that, yeah, I think, 30 minutes for an episode, we can cover a certain amount, but we won't get a lot covered. All right, and I just got a message that somebody is... No. You know what? This one's going to leave a tiny little strip, I think. Or am I going to get it all? No, I'm going to get it all. Now again, depending on the field size, I will be using probably liquid fertilizer. I find if you've done much with precision farming and actually measured out the amount of fertilizer that gets used, and this is for fields where I'm not applying fertilizer via the seeder, the sprayers are much more accurate because you don't have to worry about going too far over the edge of the field. Whereas I find, again, depending on how you end up, if you end up with an odds, like the See and Spray sprayers will only spray fertilizer where it's needed. The widespread fertilizers I find waste some over the edge, and I did do a video on that to prove the fact that that happens. And you know what? I am going to have to, whether I like it or not, get more, and I'm going to herbicide for this. I'll show you what else that I need. I need seed. So I will see you back at the dealership. Okay, this isn't looking good. Look at my seed, and I still have a little bit left to go. Well, I have a full other field left to go with the seeder. My corn planter needs seed. Fortunately, when I plant soybean, all I need is seed, whereas here I am going to need both. Well, if I run out, I'm going to need both fertilizer and seed. Now, some people have asked or said, why aren't you using the Izaria Pro Compact on your planting tractors? For planting, it's not needed. It goes basically off the nitrogen levels that are in the field. The only time you really need the Izaria Pro Compact is when you are doing a field that is in its third or fourth growth stage. If you're not familiar with precision farming, it's great, but you do need to, as the game suggests in the help menu, you do need to top up the fertilization towards the end of the growth stage if you want to get maximum yield. Not just maximum yield, but maximum environmental score as well. All right, let me go get my corn planted because I have a field of corn to do. I'm going to put this on a worker and wait for the message that says I have run out of seed. Oh, and I'm going to need liquid herbicide. I'm bleeding cash here. This is going to be tough. Liquid fertilizer. Buy. Yes. Back. Okay, the other question I have is, I typically don't use mineral feed, but for the sake of difficulty, should I be using mineral feed in the game? Again, just to make it more difficult. I guess that's, well, I'll leave that up to you. Again, I have a video on that. Mineral feed does absolutely nothing. All it is a money sink. If you have 2 cow barns, feed 1 cow. You want to do an experiment? Feed 1 cow barn with mineral feed and the other one without. Just do total mixed ration with and without. You won't notice a difference. Oh yes, it's going to refill. But how much is it going to take? Okay, so that was nice. And I will take that over to the shed in a little while. But methinks I don't have enough seed. Now, I do like these 8RT tractors. I find, they're great for maneuverability. Oh dear, I'm going to go through a lot of liquid fertilizer. Well, I guess I know. I'm just looking at the precision farming gauge at the top left that shows how much I'm putting down. And it shows I'm putting down a lot. But corn takes a lot. It's why it's a lot of people consider unenvironmentally friendly crop, even though we rely on it for so many things. And yet soybean, well, I think this game needs, hopefully, I mean, I don't know what besides, they have teased for the year 2 season pass. It looks like a carrot or a turnip. But we need more crops like soybeans and radishes that actually put nitrogen back into the ground. In just as a pure farming fact, while we're doing this field, in real life, oilseed, well, depending on where you are in the world, oilseed radish is planted, at least in the Northeast where I am, in the northern states where it's cold. It's planted, and then it's left. It's planted, let's say, after I don't know, your corn's been harvested or another crop's been harvested. So September-ish, and it's allowed to grow for a couple of months, and then the frost just kills it off. And once the plant's dead, it starts to decompose, and the nitrogen that's in the crop itself, in the leaf and in the root, gets reabsorbed into the ground. Where oilseed radish gets its benefit from is that it's got such a long taproot that it brings nitrogen that normally wouldn't be touched by a plant because it's too far down. So even corn that has long roots, oilseed radish goes a lot deeper, and it gets that nitrogen that has been buried in the ground, and it brings it to the surface. So it doesn't actually create nitrogen like the soybeans do. There's an actual bacteria in soybeans that create nitrogen in the ground, but oilseed radish still brings up unused nitrogen, so it doesn't get, it's environmentally friendly. By bringing it to the surface, it doesn't get washed away or leached in the spring thaw when might get pushed down a little bit again, but it's still high enough that it can be used. Okay, I'm going to quickly check on my other tractors and see what's going on while this one does its thing. Okay, this one's going to be close. I have 560, 550 liters of seed left, and I have one more pass of the field to do. The other 2 seeders are done, and they are both at about 20 to 25%, which really doesn't leave much room if I had to seed anything else, which fortunately I don't. Like I said, the question mark here is, are we going to make it on this seeder? And then the next question is, how much is everything going to cost me to repair? Like I said, you can see this tractor's at 15 hours. I've got another one at 21 hours. So again, looking at, obviously nothing will get replaced until we've had our crops harvested. I'm thinking 20 to 25 hours would be reasonable for a tractor replacement. Again, leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think. This is going to be so tight. And you know what? At this point, if I get 2/3 of the way down, Guess what? It doesn't get planted. I am... Of course you did. Yeah, if I get 2/3 of the way down and I run out of seed, I run out of seed. If I make it all the way down, so be it. It's going to be close. It's going to be very close. Oh, and if you've noticed spruce trees popping up all around the map, I did some planting when I was considering changing this map over to a challenge map. So it's a matter of leaving them to grow. Then I figure by the time they're fully grown, we'll be in a position to afford some decent harvesting equipment. As I said before, unfortunately, being spruce though, they have very large trunks. So I'm not going to be able to afford the smallest harvester. And yes, we're going to do it. With exactly 2% or 100 liters to spare. That's not bad. Yeah, you can tell I planted those trees. Look how linear they are. And no, I don't own that land anymore. Like I said, it was land I did own, and I sold back as part of my challenge program. Oh, and you see these little, if you look at the nitrogen map, the little round circle, you'll see those little yellow stripes. That's why you don't use an Izaria Pro Compact when you are doing your seeding, because it tends to mess with the nitrogen. I don't know what it is. It's a bug. I've reported it to Giants and they haven't done anything about it. In fact, I'm surprised the response I got wasn't the typical working as intended. It was, we recently released a patch that should fix that issue, but it didn't. Alright, I'm going to get all these vehicles back. We'll see how much it costs to repair them. So we're at 196,000 right now. Fuel, I still have a little bit left in the fuel storage tank, so I'm not too worried about that. But I do want to know what I am going to have left. I will see you back at the stable. Okay, first up is the 6215R. It's not too bad. Look at the repaint cost though. Wow. And yes, I do believe in washing my tractors when I'm done. Sometimes I choose to cheat, is a good way of putting it. And I use the Insta Wash, but now, I was always taught, like I said, when I was growing up on the farm, don't need a chainsaw, that you washed your equipment before putting it away. Oh, we have 3 pallets of eggs. Okay. Nope. If Kerbo's watching, he's going to love that for driving. And since this shed is now empty of all the extraneous equipment that I used to have, I guess I can park tractors in here now. All right, back over here. Let's see what this costs. Refuel is obviously going to be no expense. Let me bring my little toolbox a little bit closer. I did think about putting up a different shed here. Don't know why I put that one up. So repair for the front. This is what I meant the other day when I said when you are driving 421. Wow, okay. Repaint 16,000. Repair. Oh, I knew this one was going to be an expensive one. But that's what I meant the other day when I said, yeah, if you keep your front end loader on instead of taking it off, even though it's not doing anything the way the game's programmed, it will take damage as you drive through the field and do field work. Weights too, but they cost absolutely nothing to repair. And this drill, I absolutely, for smaller fields, I absolutely love it. It works fantastic. Especially since somebody modified it to be a direct drill, so you don't take a hit on your precision farming. Okay, I'm not going to put these in the shed right now, but let's take a look and see where our precision farming score. Oh, we're down to 97%. I don't know what dropped it. Well, we've still got a ways to go before it hits 95. I'm going to be very embarrassed if it goes below 95 because I know better. Do we not have fuel? Did I empty the tank? There we go. Yeah, you always wash your equipment and you refuel it before you put it back in the barn. I guess I better show you this repair cost too, so you know what's going on. 616 for this, and another 894, and that's not even that badly damaged. Yeah, like I said, as far as this series goes, I mean, I can defer the maintenance cost. I just know it's going to mean a massive amount later on. The longer you let it go, the more it increases incrementally. All right, let me put my equipment away, and then we'll wrap up. Well, here goes another $1,000. Put this one back in the shed, and then we will take a look at our total costs for this month. Well, it looks like we lost $80,000 this month. I'm not quite sure how. Well, I do know how. I went through the numbers. But, I mean, fertilizer and seed costs, if it hadn't been for the seed tender that still had some seed in it, we would have been quite a bit higher than that. So on that note, we have some strawberries over there, a couple of pallets of tomatoes, and some lettuce over here. The sheep have produced a pallet or two of wool, and we have probably 6 pallets or 7 pallets of honey. So hopefully, well, I don't see any major expenses besides some more fertilizer needed to top up the crops, but that should get us through harvest time. It's really going to be the dog days of summer because I don't need any hay. I've got plenty of hay. Remember, the BGA is out of use until we build a new one. So, I think we'll be okay. I think the lettuce and, well, the veggies, the eggs, and the honey will see us through. It may not make us rich. We could always invest in a production point now, but I don't really, apart from milk, which, oh, I forgot about the milk. Apart from milk, I don't really have anything to throw into a production point. Like I said, the silos are pretty much empty apart from enough grain to see the chickens through. And that's about it. So let me know what you think of how we're doing so far, and let me know what you think we should do next. Thank you for watching, and take care, Jay.